Yeah.
Liz, can you still hear me? Can you hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you can. Oh, perfect. Okay, so we'll start sitting at the front of our mat. Hold your eyes closed. Attend to your physical body and make your spine long. Push through your sit bones, reach out to the crown of your head. And begin to consolidate your energy. Instead of allowing your awareness and energy to be really broad and perhaps distracted, see if you can begin to draw it into your center, into yourself. And perhaps every inhale, breathing in and getting taller. And every exhale, staying connected to your center. Exhale, expanding out in all directions. One of the yoga teachings is that we have this inner light always present inside of us. And there's also a lot of teachings on Agni, this inner fire we have. Imagine your inner fire and how it's doing. Is it like just kindling? Just the like very start of a fire, not really doing too well? Or is it a destructive fire? Or is it like a nice, like controlled, consistent flame? That's what I want us to work on as we practice, tending to this inner flame so that we can feel connected and energized and passionate. And with the fire, sometimes like the wind can come and try to blow it out. So I like to think that my practice, my consistent practice, helps put like a glass container around the flame. So it's not as affected by external forces and it can stay consistently blazing. And we'll start with the Anusara invocation. Bring your hands up in front of your heart. Lift your chest up to your thumbs, shoulders soften down your back. We'll take 3 rounds of breath together and then 1 Om, 1 round of the Anusara invocation and 1 more Om. Take a full breath in. Consolidate your energy, squeeze it to the midline. And out. In. Out. Last one. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchitananda Mortaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase Om. Keep your eyes closed, bring your hands down to your thighs or your lap. Notice how that mantra, how your initial tuning in has affected this energetic flame inside of yourself. And how your practice can help create a container for it. And we're going to go into 3 rounds of breath of fire. The first one we're going to do is we're going to stretch our arms out to the side and turn your palms up, draw your shoulders down your back, lift your heart. Eyes closed, gazing at your third eye, breath of fire. Continue. Breath of fire is the equal inhale and exhale through the nose, letting the belly pump. You can keep your breath of fire going. Stretch your arms straight up to the sky, palms face towards each other. Keep the breath of fire going. Last round, palms touch together. They can be a little bit forward if it helps you integrate your shoulders. Okay, full inhale. Hold your breath, stretch up through your arms, press down through your hips. And then as you exhale, back of the hands together, stretch your arms out, around and down. And pause and notice. All right, and then let your eyes open. I've been doing that little sequence to help wake myself up, and I'm trying to do no coffee. So I've been trying to switch to breath of fire, getting this flame going. So when I was meditating a few days ago, I had this realization of there's the chakra system and the Sushumna, these teachings in yoga, and I can understand it in my mind, but during this meditation, I just knew. I was just well, of course. And I was whenever I feel insecure or stressed out, I'm out here. And in yoga, we also have these teachings about the koshas, these layers like an onion peel. And the most deep one is the Anandamaya kosha, so this bliss. So getting into this bliss layer, getting into your light, all these things about drawing in and then staying connected, and then we extend out. And I had this visualization, and I'm not one to visualize for meditations. But it was like an astronaut doing a spacewalk. It's the astronaut just goes out there and floats in space. They stay tethered to their ship. I thought that was just it was just so cool. Zaina, will you lock the door? Or not Zaina, Sundurta. Yeah. So that's what we're gonna work with today, the drawing in to our center, getting that a pathway that we get really good at returning back to and pressing out. So let's start in table on your hands and knees. Just give you a little reading here. You're totally fine. Yes. Okay. In your table, begin to move through some cat cows. Inhaling cat, exhaling cow. Bring your awareness to your center axis of the spine. The spine is great because it's dense. It's like a solid object that we can feel more. But it also runs just like our energetic systems. When we bring our awareness to the structure of our spine, we're also bringing awareness to this energetic center. And whenever you bring your energy anywhere, it brings your, whenever you bring your awareness somewhere, it brings your energy. So bringing more of your energy into your core. And then make your way into a neutral spine. Shoulders integrated, sit bones back, and then begin to pull. Imagine that you're trying to pull energy from your hands up through your shoulders and into your core. And then from your feet, imagine that you can pull energy up through your hips and into your belly. So you have all this energy drawing into your core. And then keep that and push down through your hands and down through your knees. And I feel a total difference than just like in the position of table when I do that. As you inhale, stretch your right leg back. Keep your outer right hip turning down. And same thing, feel this pulsation from your limbs into your core, and then from your core pushing back out. Extend your left arm forward, thumb up. Every time you come into a pose, like draw in, connect, and push out. Back through table. When you're ready, left leg back, hips squared, outer left hip down, inner left thigh up, belly in. When you're ready, extend your right arm alongside your ear. All right, switch sides. And switch sides. Awesome. Back through table, tuck your toes, downward facing dog. The breath, the prana, just like a real fire that needs oxygen, the more you breathe, the more you help feed that your inner fire, which helps you be more disciplined so you can like think what you want to think, do what you want to do, and not be so controlled by other aspects. From your hands, pull energy into your heart. From your feet, pull energy up through your hips and into your heart. And then from your heart, push your hands down, push down through your feet. Great, as you inhale, stretch your right leg up to the sky. Push out through the foot, open your hip out to the right. And then square off your hips back to downward facing dog. Second side, left leg up. Open your left hip. And then lower your left foot. All right, look forward, bring your feet forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, take your hands to your thighs and stretch your chest forward. When I imagine sucking the energy up, I imagine my limbs are straws. Like imagine your legs are straws and you can suck the energy of the earth into your pelvis, hands, shoulders, belly to your pelvis. All right, bow forward. Push through your feet. Inhale, come all the way up and stretch. Exhale, hands through heart center. And bring your hands down by your sides. And then stretch your arms up. And try not to engage or press out, so you start to notice the difference. And then from your feet, suck your energy up to your hips, engage the muscles of your legs, tiny bend in your knees if you're making diapers right now, especially your right knee. Yeah. And then from your hands, draw into your belly, so you should feel like this energy is consolidating in your core. And then from there, push through your feet. And then from your core, stretch up through your arms. Notice the difference your subtle actions make. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, stretch your heart forward. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to downward facing dog. Fingertips, knuckle ridges strong. Inhale, come forward to plank. Knees up or knees down, lower down chaturanga. Come down onto your belly and then inhale, lengthen and curl, Cobra. Push down through your toenails and try to pull your energy into your hips from your hands. Draw your shoulders back, draw your navel in down to your hips. Downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg up to the sky. Exhale, step your right foot forward between your hands. Push into your feet and try to drag your feet towards each other isometrically so you'll feel some strength in your inner thighs. Push through your feet and come all the way up and stretch. If you wanted with your breath, every inhale you could think about drawing into your center, and every exhale staying connected, pushing out. With your front knee over your ankle, press up, standing balance, and step back lunge. Okay, press up, standing balance, tree pose. And do whatever you want with your arms. Tree is a pose I'll often stand in when I'm like chatting to people, but it's a very collapsed tree I do. So in yoga, it'll be like a steady, engaged tree. Right, root your left foot down, keep stretching up, and as you exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to plank. Hold plank, these could be down or up. Pull into your core, pull your belly button into your spine. Keep your sit bones joined back in the crown of your head, stretching forward. Bend your elbows and pause, chaturanga. And then lower, or then engage, lengthen and curl, cobra. Downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg up. Engage your upper arm bones into the shoulder sockets and push down through your hands and stretch up through the ball of your left foot. Step your left foot forward between your hands. When you're ready, come on up and stretch. Front knee over your ankle, push down, standing balance. As you come to standing balance, notice the way your pelvis is. Your pelvis is tucking under, it's harder to balance, and if it's sit bones too far back, it's hard to balance. So pelvic bowl neutral, that will help you root. Step back lunge, and push up, tree pose. Swing your hands in front of your heart for this one. And for the beginning of it, focus on squeezing thigh and foot together, hands together, shoulder blade tips together, ribs, front of the ribs together, and then from there, extend out, maybe stretching your arms somewhere, pushing out through both feet more. Letting the crown of the head flow away from the collarbones. Keep stretching up, root the right foot down. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to plank. Create strength in your plank. In the teacher training I do with Adam, we normally have people do plank and then we have someone else, and it's not COVID season or time, push the other person. And you want to try to be so stable that if someone was trying to push you from the side, you wouldn't move much. And then bend, chaturanga, cobra. Another one you do with partners here is someone holds your hips and pulls them towards your feet and pulls behind your shoulders and draws your heart forward. So that's the extending out that you can do by yourself too. Downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg up to the sky. Open your hips to the right. Keep your left knee forward. Step your right foot forward between your hands. Lower your left knee down to the floor, like a cushion. Front foot, back knee draws in as you pull up into your hips, and in that pull, turn your hips slightly to the right so the hips face forward, and then also push down through the legs. Stay here or reach back for your left foot for the quad stretch. You can keep your right hand on your hip or your thigh or stretch up. I like to take my right hand back to my left foot too. Think about your spine, the way the spine naturally curves, and notice where it wants to like break open or collapse, and add more strength there, and then add more length. I'm really feeling the word consolidate. We tend to like dissipate as we spread all out and do all the things, having a practice that brings you into your center. All right, release your back foot. We're going to open up for modified warrior 2. So the left knee will stay on the floor. Left foot will pivot to the right, so both the hips are facing to the left. Yeah. Adjust your stance, right knee over your ankle. Push into the legs, squeeze them together, inner thigh strong, stretch out through the arms. From the arms, squeeze the shoulder blade tips together and down, core in. And then begin to push out evenly through the legs, through the crown, through the fingertips. Right, back hand on your hip, reverse warrior. Prioritize the strength and then the stretch and lengthen. Come forward, right elbow to the thigh, stretch up and over. Come back up, one more time, reverse warrior. It's pretty early in the practice, but if it would feel good to you, you could bring your left hand down to the floor for more of a side plank variation. Or stay upright. And then come on up. Last one, either right elbow to the thigh again or fingertips to the floor or block. Stretch. From your fingers, both of the shoulder joints draw into the shoulder sockets while the core stays engaged. Lengthen. All right, come on up. We're going to pivot back to a low lunge, as gracefully as you feel like. Tuck your back toes under, straighten the back leg. Bend the knee and hover it, because why not? Core power. Okay, straighten it, and then press up, standing balance. So either tree pose again, or standing pigeon if your knee is okay with it. So before I do standing pigeon, I always like to engage the leg by isometrically drawing the left heel to the thumb, and then hook ankle over the knee, and then draw the sitting bones back. Hands on the right thigh. Think about the spread of your hips, kind of like the wood logs of the fire. It's helpful for the fire to blaze well if you have that good teepee structure of logs. I started my first fire all by myself a few weeks ago. It was a very proud moment. Sit bones broad. Okay, you can stay here, or you can take your left hand to your left knee, right hand to your right foot, elbows wide. And then you compress down, so it's like you're trying to squish your shin in between your hands. And as you're doing that with your hands, see if you can push your femur bones, your sitting bones, away from each other more. Shoulder blades stay together, core stays strong. And then from here, we're going to open up into Ardha Chandrasana. You can tap your foot down if you want, and then hinge forward. Right hand to the floor or the block. Left hand to your hip. Right knee stays forward, open your hips up, maybe stretch the arm up. This is one of my favorite poses for working this principle of muscle energy of drawing into your center, which in this case is your hips, and then extending back out. And then we're going to step down to forward fold, Uttanasana. Take a few rounds of breath here. You can bend your knees a little bit more if that feels good to you. From your fingertips, suck your shoulders up towards your hips. So the back of the neck lengthens, maybe move your head around a little bit. On your next inhale, stretch your spine long, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to downward facing dog or move through a vinyasa. Awesome. Inhale, left leg up to the sky. If you turned it out last time, turn it out this time. And then step your left foot forward between your hands. Swing up for low lunge, back knee down. And for comparison's sake, I know some of you have done this with me a lot, put your hands on your hips and just kind of like lean. So you're aware of what your body does when you're not drawing to your center and you're not pushing out. And if we're not aware of it, it's what we'll tend to do. And the collapse is like the collapse of the energy. Much different than consolidating the energy to your core, so you always have energy to be using. Okay, so from your feet now, pull into your hips. That should help to even out the hip sockets and the pelvis. Turn your outer right hip forward and then begin to push through the right knee and push through the left foot. That should feel a lot different than the collapse version. And then either stay here or bend the back knee for a quad stretch. I'm pushing down through all of the left toes, maybe squeezing the right glute as you push through the knee. Scanning the spine and noticing where you tend to break. Is it around somewhere? Is it a rounding in a certain area of the spine? Or is it a sticking out in an area of the spine? For me, I stick my ribs out. I have to always pull those in. Release your back foot. Keep your left knee facing forward. Pivot your right foot to the left. Right shin parallel to the back of your yoga mat. Maybe widen your left foot a little bit more forward. On second warrior pose. Squeeze right knee and left heel together. Squeeze shoulders and lats down. Lengthen the neck evenly up. Getting to this deeper layer of this deepest layer of yourself is the Maya Kosha. It's deep at your core, this layer of bliss. I think people think the coffee shop is open and this is the coffee shop. It's been happening all morning. It's okay. Reverse warrior. Stay long, core in, push down. And come back up through center. Left elbow to thigh, modified Parsvakonasana. When we work with the thigh, I normally talk about my jelly donut theory, that the intervertebral discs are like jelly donuts. You want to be aware of how you move, so the jelly donut doesn't push out in one direction. That'd be like a bulging disc. Come back up through center, reverse warrior. I was reminded this weekend, maybe hand down, that you can put more jelly, for this metaphor to continue, into your jelly donut by movement. So like when you move your spine, you're bringing more of that intervertebral fluid into your jelly donut. I thought that was so cool. So these side bends, really good for the jelly donuts. Come back up. Fingertips to the floor or elbow back to the thigh. One more time, modified Uttanasana. Continuing to drag the legs together and push out through the legs. If your fingertips are on the inside of your foot, you can widen your knee slightly with your elbow. And come on back up. Pivot back up to your lunge. Straighten the back leg. And just for fun, bend the back knee, hover it. Core strong, spine long, straight in. Okay, step on up. Either tree pose or standing pigeon. Work to get the round out of your low back by dragging the sit bones back. And if that puts you into a back bend in your core, draw your rib cage in. Stay here or take your left foot to your left hand to your right foot, right hand to your right knee. I think I might have said that wrong. Left hand to right foot, right hand to right knee. Elbows wide, push in on the foot and knee towards each other as you push your femur bones, hip sockets wide. Right, come back up through center. Ardha Chandrasana. From your left foot, suck the energy of the earth up through the hip. Suck the energy through the right foot to the hip, the energy from the left hand to the shoulder to the hip, energy of the right hand, shoulder, hip, and then push out. Right, step down, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, step back, downward facing dog. Right way into the second side, inhale, right leg up. Exhale, step your right foot forward between your hands. Ground your back heel down before you come up into second warrior pose. Push through the inner and outer edge of both feet, squeeze the legs together. Continue to root down and then come up. So from your feet, pull in, from your hands, pull in and then push out. Tip up, reverse warrior. And then your choice, elbow to thigh or fingertips to floor or block. Do whatever one's gonna help you stay long and then extend. Like that astronaut in space. They go out, but they're always tethered to their home base. Your home base is your center, your energetic system, your bliss body. Okay, left hand to your hip, look forward, press up and balance, Ardha Chandrasana. Stay here or take the quad stretch. If you happen to be hearing noise around you, if you're in this space, you're hearing loud construction. All reminders turn in. Engage your quads, push out through your knee and foot. Release the leg, come all the way up, standing balance. Standing pigeon, one more time. Tree is always a good option, or you could do eagle pose if you don't want to do standing pigeon. And then same thing, either hands on the thigh or one hand to knee and foot, pushing in. Elbows wide so you can integrate the shoulders as you widen the femur bones. Release the foot, Uttanasana. In your forward fold, poke your quads, the muscle above your knees. Notice if they're engaged. Try to lift your kneecaps up so the quads engage. And push down through your feet more. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, plant your hands, downward facing dog. In your down dog, inhale, left leg up. Exhale, left foot works forward between your hand, right foot down. Steady your connection. And then come on up. Second warrior. And reverse. Parsvakonasana, elbow or fingertips. Right back into your hip, Ardha Chandrasana. Just like in your forward fold, it helps if you can engage your quads. Imagine drawing your kneecaps up to your hips as you push from your hips out through the four corners of each foot. Maybe taking the quad stretch. Notice what side of the foot is rolling and try to push down the other side with more power. And then come all the way up. Standing pigeon. Really nice and release. Come to standing. Shake out to your feet. Feel the burn. Okay, stretch your arms up to the sky. From your feet, from your fingertips, pull your energy into the core of your belly, up the length of your spine. Being able to control your resources and where you put them, instead of like always having the tendency of thinking about like 100 things at once, pulling into your power, getting recharged. From your fingertips, draw your shoulder blades down your back and notice if the ribs pop out. And if they do, look towards your belly button. Keep your butt pushing back, but the ribs will stay down and then lift your head up again. Kind of like handstand prep. Flex your wrists back, so palms are towards the sky, and think about pushing up through your palms. And release down. I wonder what we'll do next. Let's do first this plank. So come down into modified. Let's come down into table. From your hands, integrate your shoulders. Normally when the shoulders integrate, the belly plops out and the ribs plop out. So shoulders in, but ribs in. Now step back to plank. And focus on the strength at your core and push through your hands. Lower your knees down. One more. This is my new favorite plank, but I do it really briefly. Okay, so I won't do this long. But you can't not feel your core. So we're gonna go toenails down so the foot is pointed like Cobra, but on the floor, both of them. So toenails plank. Push through your hands and lift your ribs. Isn't that fun? Yeah. Okay. Knees down. Do you feel your core well? Okay. Okay. Downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg up to the sky. Step your right foot forward between your hands. Lower your left knee down to the floor or a cushion. Ardha Hanuman, front leg straight. Keep yourself long and hinge. I like to use blocks here. Draw your right heel back to your left knee forward to your right heel. And try to lengthen the belly button forward. You can stay here, or you can play with trying to push your toes down to the floor. Sometimes I'll press and point my foot. If you wear high heels a lot, I don't think this is a good thing for you. You're already getting a stretch to the front of the foot so much, but if you don't, then there's never really a time you stretch the front of the foot, except maybe if we're driving intensely. All right, stay here. Maybe walk your hands to the outside of the right leg. Maybe still pointing and flexing the foot. And keep trying to drag your sitting bones back and broaden them, the base of your fire. And then imagining the fire like the length of your spine. All right, come back up. And your front knee over your ankle, plant your hands. We're going to go into standing splits. So options, you can stay in standing splits. You can walk your hands up your thigh for a modification of warrior 3, core in and lengthening. Or, especially since there's no one around you, at least in here, you can play with handstands. So palms flat, shoulders over the wrist, looking at one spot for your drishti. Come onto the ball of the foot, push through your hands, core in, stretch up through the back leg, maybe little hops. Come on down when you're ready. Switch sides. We'll go Ardha Chandrasana, left foot forward. Stay long as you hinge. If you're at home, you can do those at a wall. Remove some of the fear. Drag the sitting bones back, try to lengthen your belly forward, shoulders magnetized to the sockets. Maybe pointing and flexing through the left foot. And then maybe walking your hands to the outside edge of the left leg. Try to keep the left sitting bone drawing back and broadening. Would you guys say you have the same sensations on both sides of the legs, or are they different? Mine are very different. It's like bizarre. Yeah. We're such asymmetrical beings. I remember I used to be like, such like a, if I took someone's class and they switched something, I'd be like, you missed the second reverse warrior. I'd like sometimes try to remember it and go home and do it so I'd stay balanced. And then I would just realize like, I'm so unbalanced, it really doesn't matter. Okay, come up into standing splits. This is normally actually I guess it doesn't matter. So stay here, take one of the variations. If you're going to do handstands, take a moment to connect the shoulders, push through the core. Sometimes it helps me if I bend my bottom leg that I'm jumping off of and try to pull that knee into my belly. I think I learned that from Scott Moore like 15 years ago. So shout out to Scott, Metric or Mosaic Yoga. Check him out. When you're ready, take a moment, sit down and pause, maybe drink some water, drop into your meditation. And kind of like continue to, if they're imagining this energetic flame, how's it doing? Like really the practice of yoga is learning to tend to that flame. When does it need more energy? When does it need more food? What kind of food does it need? Does it need more sleep? More of a gentle practice, more of a heated practice? I do think that the more I practice consistently, it's like I'm putting like a fishbowl over the fire. with like maybe air holes so it doesn't get suffocated. But that prevents the wind of life and constant changes from blowing the fire out. Okay, let's do a brief pigeon. So right knee forward. So in modification for pigeon, if you don't want to do that on your knees, you can do like a hero pose. So the right sit bone would be sitting on the heel. Or you can draw the right foot towards the left hip. Right knee is wider than the hip. You can stay down for a more gentle pigeon, or you can bring the legs together and squeeze in. More active pigeon, maybe taking a quad stretch. Walk your hands up. Sit over onto your right hip, swing your left leg around. Grab your foot. We're going to do, foot is really active, throwing a blanket under your butt, so it can always be helpful here so your pelvis stays neutral, just like we were talking about, helps us ground more, even in the sit bones. We do the same thing with the sit bones. We can just kind of lean, where we can draw into our core and actively push through the sit bones and lift through the head. So foot is active, and then hold like on the either side of the knee, and the leg strong, you're trying to pull the calf closer to you. And you can hook your elbow under. This is my like delicate knee, so just holding it is enough for me. But just starting a little bit of that rotation. And then we're going to go towards Agni Stambasana, so you can hook the left foot over the outer edge of, left foot over the outer edge of the knee. Your right foot could be underneath the knee. I like to have my right foot tucked in more. You can support the knee so it's still up in space, or you can bring it down. And then bring energy into your center, push through your hips, float up through your head. Stage one, maybe taking one hand to your foot, one hand to your knee, pushing in. And then as you push in, try to push your hips back and wide. This is fire log pose. Okay, and come on out, take your left foot, bend it, sole the foot to the floor, extend your right leg forward. We're going to do a different variation of Matsyasana fish twist. So holding your left knee, lean back a little bit, bring your left hand behind your back, you're making room for your belly, stretch your right arm up, get tall, and then turn either elbow or hook elbow. You can either hug or hook your elbow to the outside of the knee, get tall. Broaden your shoulders, so your shoulder blades down your back. Every inhale, lengthening, and as you exhale, maybe twisting just a little bit more, even if it's just in your imagination. Really nice. Come back to center. Options. Stay here, stay upright, fingertips on the floor, leaning back, engaging the erector spine a little bit, or stretch your left arm forward. And then see if you can reach your arms around. This is kind of just for fun. Try to keep the hands, from the hands, shoulders drawing into the shoulder sockets. Come on up, second side, we'll do pigeon on the left knee. I think the hardest thing about life is like you have moments where you get pissed off or irritated, and in those moments it's hard to remember your center. And it's not like just remembering your center fixes it, but the other day I feel like my kids like something kind of possessed them for the whole day. They were just like very unusual temperament than normal in a very irritating way. And I was so proud. I kept being like, okay, remember your center. Remember your center. I was still very irritated. But at least I was at my center. I always tell myself, like, it'd be so much worse if I was like way out here, like somewhere on the periphery. So remembering. That's why I think that when we in yoga, when we repeat again and again, like, gosh, we've drawn in and pushed out so many times, just gets that pattern more developed. So then we're driving and something happens, it's like, oh yeah, my center. Okay, sit over onto the left hip, swing your right leg around. Baby cradle, foot active. With the whole leg active, so you're not torquing your knee, you're rotating your hip. Begin to pull the shin in. And I find that if I hold up more on my calf, it helps me stabilize my knee a little bit better. If I hold on my foot, I feel like there's more possible tweak there. And then we'll bring the right foot to the left knee. Another modification is you can take the foot to the block. And then maybe one hand to foot, push in, and then widen the hips, draw your belly in. Kind of think about the flame like the Kundalini energy that rises up the spine. Normally the fire tends to be in these lower pelvis areas, so we stay in the like realm of survival and sexual energy or like emotions and like power stuff. But if we can lighten the spine and work our fire so it can go all the way up, that's when we can access more like compassion, conscious communication, clarity. Okay, release the foot. Set for this Matsyendrasana variation. Left foot forward, right knee in. Get tall, lean back a little bit, right fingertips to the floor. Stretch, 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 rotate, twist. And push down through the sitting bones, lift up through the head. Unwind. Stay upright, or you could just do a forward fold over the leg, or maybe wrap your hands behind your back. All right, come on up. Come to lay down on your back. Let's do a brief bridge. So you can do bridge, normal, push up your elbows and feet. I'm filling a supported bridge. So if you have a block, you can put a block underneath your hips. And just like a fire, again, it can be hard to get going. But if you get a fire going and you like tend to it, it doesn't need much help, just like a little bit more here and there, a little pokes. That's like the continuous practice of like, oh, I just need a little poke here, a little bit more food here, not like, oh, I need to totally restart this fire because it's really gone out. Release the bridge. Pull your knees into your belly, take a little twist to the right, however you'd like. Shoulders broad and connected. Push the back of the head into the floor. You can stay here or you can rotate your head from one side to the other, continuing to push the head into the earth as you roll it back and forth. Like this can release some of the muscles on either side of the neck. And bring your head to center, switch the twist.
Once the shoulders are integrated, maybe rotating the head again. Come back through center. Take a little pause, either pulling your knees into your belly or feet on the floor. And then decide if you want to end class laying on your back in Shavasana or if you want to sit up for a seated meditation. And then make your way into your final relaxation. About one more minute here, so be efficient with your ability to drop into relaxation to nourish you for the rest of your day. And get more relaxed. And if you're on your back, make your way up to a seated meditation. Hands can stay on your lap or your thighs. Root down through your sitting bones, lift up through the crown of your head. Imagine and feel this flame of yours traveling up the length of your spine. This flame energetically pushing out in all directions, the radiance of the fire. Allow your skin and your muscles to kind of soften and relax on this inner light. Letting this inner radiance do more of the work for you. And draw your hands in front of your heart. You'll be setting an intention for the rest of your day or week. All right, thanks so much for joining me today in person or on the screen. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Namaste. Satnam. Thanks, Kev. Thanks, Liz.
Bye, Liz.
What was that?